Prime factorization is the process of splitting a number up into a product of its prime factors. Questions like these are the kind of questions you can be asked when asked to find the prime factorization of a number, and we use two different methods in finding this. We can either use the normal factorization method or we use the tree method. In these video lessons, we are going to look at two questions that can help you learn how to solve prime factors. One of those questions is this, and we are going to help you, if you are in grade 4, to get a mastery of this topic. I am Andy, and this is New Track Mathematics video. Welcome back. Every number in mathematics, every composite numbers has its own unique products of prime numbers. Now let's look at number like 10. 10 has what? 2 times what? 5. It has 2 and 5 as its prime numbers. Now take note that some prime factors are often repeated in prime factorization, and sometimes quite a few times too. Now take for example when you are given numbers like 20. Now we are asked to look for the factors of 20. Remember, some prime factors, as said, are repeat quite a number of times. Now 20, if we are looking for the factors of 20, it can be what? 2 times 2 times what? Times 5. Now do you notice that 2 is repeated 2 times? Another good example is what? Is 80, and 80 has prime factors, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times what? Times 2, and times what? Times 5. Now if you notice, 2 times 2 4, 4 times 2 8, 8 times 2 16, 16 times 5 will give us what? That will give us 80. So you notice that 3 as a prime factor reoccurred 4 times. Now how can we use this method in finding the factor tree method in finding the prime factors of a number? That is what we call prime factorization. When a given number has a prime factors that repeat themselves in many instances, in many ways, we call them prime what? Factorization. And we can use two methods in finding the prime factors of number. The first one is a tree method, and the second one is using the prime factorization method. Now in these video lessons, I'm going to show you two methods through which you can learn to solving questions on prime factorization. Now let's look at the first question. You are asked to draw a factor tree to find the prime factorization of 19. Now for us to draw a factor tree, the first number that will be in the factor tree is what? 90. And 90, we'll look for two numbers we'll multiply that will give us what? 90. And if we check out those numbers, 90 will be equal to 2 times what? 45, right? Because 2 times 45 will give us what? Will give us 90. So the first tree will be 2 and the other tree will be what? 45. Now do you notice that 2 is a prime factor and 45 is not a prime factor? So we'll have to find prime factors out from what? From 45. Now because 45 ends with 5, the rule of divisibility, number 45 can be divided by what? 5. So 45 divided by 5 will give us what? 45 divided by 5 will give us what? That will give us 15. That will give us 3 and 5. We'll have what? 45 divided by what? 5. So 45 is not a prime number, so we have to look for two numbers that can be multiplied to give what? 45. So those two numbers is going to be what? 15 times what? Times 3. Now, how do we find such two numbers? When we look at this, we have what? 45. 3 divided by 45 will give us what? 1 here, and this will give us 5. 5 here will give us what? Will give us 3 will give us what? Another 5, and 5 will give us what? 1. So 3 times 5 will give us what? 15. So we have 3 and we have what? 15. Now take note, 3 is a prime factor and 15 is not a prime factor. So we have to make 15 to become a prime factor. So 3 times what? Times 5 will give us what? That will give us what? 15. So now do you notice that this is a prime factor and this is a prime factor? So the product now will give us this, will give us this, and will give us what? This. Now the product of the prime factors of 90 is equal to what? 2 times what? 3 times what? Times 3 times what? Times 5. That will be equal to 2 times what? 3 raised to power 2 times what? Times 5. So the prime factorization of 90 will give us 2 times 3 raised to power 2 times what? Times 5. Now do you notice that 2 is what? 2 occurred more than 1 times. That really shows that this is prime factorization of 90. Now let's look at another good example, and in the second example we are going to consider prime factorization using the factor what? The factor method. Let's consider example 2. In this question we are asked to find the prime factorization of 40. So what do we do? It's similar to the tree method. So 40 is a number that is an even number, and for the fact that it ends with 0 shows that it can be divided by what? 2. That is the rules of divisibility. Now this will give us what? 2 times what? Times 20. 2 is a prime factor and 20 is not a prime factor. Again, we'll bring out what? We'll bring out 20. Again, we're going to bring out what? 20. Now 20, 2 times what? Times 10 will give us what? 20. 2 is a prime factor and 10 is not a prime factor. So we'll bring out 10. What can we multiply to give us 5? We'll have what? 2 times what? To give us 10. That will give us what? 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 will give us 10. Now do you notice that 2 is a prime number and 5 is a prime number? So the prime factors of what? The prime factorization of the number 40 is equal to what? 2 times 2 times what? Times 5. So that will give us 2 times what? 2 times 2 times what? Times 5, which is equal to what? 2 raised to power 3 times what? Times 5. So you see, solving question under prime factorization can be pretty easy. Check the description section of this video for links to download a quiz that have been given to you, or the worksheet for this topic, prime factorization, so that you can have unique questions you can practice in order to master up solving prime factorization. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I look forward to see you watch our subsequent videos.